Andy Ruiz has been saying some interesting things since his upset victory over Anthony Joshua. Ruiz always came across as a very humble, likable individual, but he is an Al Haymon fighter, and Al Haymon might be pulling Ruiz to the side and saying, you know what? Let's not make it so easy for Team AJ. They are our rivals at the end of the day. I know you're a nice guy, Andy, but this is business. This is not a situation where we need to be nice. So Andy Ruiz has changed his tune slightly, and he said, I'm the champ. I call the shots now, which is true, of course. He is the champ. Does he call the shots now? To some extent, yes. But he's still bound by the contract that he signed for the first AJ fight, because that had the rematch clause in it and stipulations attached to the rematch clause. Now, we're not privy to what those stipulations are, but it's fairly standard procedure in these rematch situations, particularly if you're dealing with a cash cow like AJ. It's fairly standard procedure for the person who was originally the champion, in this case AJ. It's standard for them to have quite a lot of control, even in the eventuality of a rematch. They're not going to have anywhere near as much control as they did first time around, but they're still going to have quite a bit of control, which is why you're hearing Eddie Hearn, etc., kind of dictating the location of the fight. With some very bright lawyers on Andy Ruiz's side, could there be loopholes? Could there be a way to argue this and argue that and maybe get the fight where they want it to be? Possibly. Again, we're not privy to the contracts. Andy Ruiz has also been talking about 50 million, that if they want the fight in the UK, he wants 50 mil. I hope Andy Ruiz gets 50 mil. You know, this is a blue collar fighter who's been brought up the hard way in boxing. I hope he makes as much money as humanly possible. You know, he definitely deserves it. But what actually will happen remains to be seen. So one thing I will say as well is that I was somebody who wanted to see Ruiz fight Deontay Wilder sooner rather than later, because that's the quickest way of us having an undisputed fight. And it's always been my priority to see an undisputed fight. We also have to take into consideration, now that AJ's decided to take this Ruiz rematch, we have to take into consideration the fact that these belts are going to need to be defended against mandatories. So will Ruiz even get to November, December with all three belts? Will he be stripped of one of them? I know the IBF and Eddie Hearn's been coming out saying, no, the belts are going to be all on the line and it's all going to be okay. He might say that now, but you don't know what's going to happen over the next few months. You just don't know. And whoever wins that rematch, are they going to be in a situation where they don't have enough time after the fight to recover and regroup before one of the sanctioning bodies decides to call a mandatory? And, you know, a week after the fight, they have to go into negotiations for another fight. Would they want to do that? Maybe they'll want to go in a different direction and fight a bigger fight, but they've got this mandatory forced upon them. This is why I am more in favor of the undisputed fight happening now. Now, obviously, it's unlikely to happen now because AJ has triggered this rematch clause. But I was hoping he wouldn't. I was hoping he would let Andy Ruiz go off and do his thing, and then we'd see an undisputed fight, or then we'd have a good chance of seeing it between two Al Haymon fighters in-house. But with AJ taking the rematch, again, not only is it going to make it more difficult to negotiate the Deontay Wilder fight if AJ wins, but he could get stripped of belts. Ruiz could get stripped of belts. And that puts the undisputed fight even further away. So that's my take. It is very much like the 1990s because all the belts became fractured. Holyfield lost them to Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe gave one of the belts away, threw it in the trash instead of fighting Lennox Lewis. So that's how one of the belts went walkies. Then he fought Bowe in the rematch. He beat Bowe for two of the belts in the rematch. Then he fought Michael Moorer. Was he stripped before he fought Michael Moorer, or was Moorer stripped after Moorer beat Holyfield? I can't remember. But Moorer ended up with just the IBF belt. Yeah, he ended up with just the IBF. Actually, did he have both of them? I think he just had the IBF belt. Did he lose the IBF to Foreman, or did he lose the IBF and the WBA? But either way, the belts all became fractured. Back then, there were 3 major belts. The WBO was, on shaky ground. It was kind of viewed the same way the IBO is viewed today. It wasn't taken as seriously as the other 3. So to be undisputed back in the 90s, you only needed the 3, the WBA, the WBC, and the IBF. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my take on it. I'm disappointed that it appears that the undisputed fight is being pushed further and further and further away. But in the meantime, we are still going to get some very exciting and intriguing heavyweight showdowns. I mean, we got Wilder against Ortiz too. And I've criticized that fight because, of course, I was hoping for an undisputed fight instead of that. But now that AJ's lost to Ruiz, it's kind of academic. Because, now he's enacted the rematch clause. So it is what it is. AJ's going to fight Ruiz again. And AJ Ruiz, that rematch is also an intriguing fight. Dylan White versus Oscar Rivas is an intriguing fight. Daniel Dubois versus Nathan Gorman there's so many good fights coming up in the heavyweight division. I'm very interested to see what Alexander Usyk is going to do, who he'll be fighting, whether it'll be Povetkin. So still loads of great heavyweight fights to be had while we sit around praying and wishing and hoping that one day we'll see the undisputed. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you concerned about the stuff that Andy Ruiz is saying? I'm personally not concerned. Yeah, because, hey, AJ and Matchroom have got the best lawyers. They know how to draw up a contract. And if they've made any kind of oversight, well, that's their fault. If Ruiz and his team are able to pull some strings and make certain things happen, that's just how it goes. Yeah, Matchroom and AJ have got nobody to blame but themselves if they don't get this rematch the way that they want it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening about. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.